If you post controversial things on social media, you have to expect to face some backlash. And when it comes to so many of the activist developers within the industry, they truly believe that they are untouchable, that they are doing good work, and that nobody should be mean to them at all whatsoever. But of course, that isn't the case. When you post about a stupid game or you post about a piece of propaganda, yeah, gamers are not going to take that too well. And Take Us North is a game that, of course, is an illegal immigration simulator. Gamers were not happy to see it just a few weeks ago after Gamescom. And while the developers posted about how mean and toxic gamers are and how we're right wing extremists, now they've tried to run hiding. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, Take Us North has already faced a lot of backlash when they highlighted it at Gamescom and they got their own panel for it, and that went up on social media. They got hammered by gamers. There were millions of people watching that clip, talking about this game, and just generally saying this isn't a product that we want. And it's true, gamers do not want propaganda, and these activists do not care about creating high quality, immersive, fun experiences like they should be, because games are a form of escapism. They use games as a vessel to push propaganda, and that is why this was totally, completely, and utterly rejected. The only people I saw supporting this title were individuals who say, ooh, the mean grifters are going after it. So individuals who just want to try to own the chuds and are not actually going to buy it and not actually going to support it themselves, or people within the industry, other developers, writers, producers, consultants, people who, again, will probably not support it, but people who also try to sell similar products. And, well, this has not gone over super good for them, and they decided only just a couple of days ago to post about how gamers are right wing extremists, but they did not hold their ground. So the creative director, Carla, is somebody who's like been heavily involved in the situation because, again, she is directly involved with the game, but it seems that the post that she had made about this was deleted. The author deleted this Medium story. It was only up for a couple of days, but the internet never forgets. No matter how much you try to run, no matter how much you try to hide, it's not going to work. And they tried this weeks ago when they were initially getting roasted by gamers. They deleted social media accounts, they hid posts. The original Gamescom video was also hidden by Gamescom, so they tried and completely and utterly failed to hide. And why you would try that again just is mind-boggling, because if you're going to post something on social media and you want people to know your opinion, you need to stand by it. All you do is look like a hypocrite, and you look like you are taking a few steps back because you didn't think it through, meaning it's an emotionally driven response, which doesn't look very professional. Though the internet never forgets, this was archived multiple times. There were people highlighting this on social media like GigaBear. I had made another video on it. It will be linked down below. But this was a pretty long post, but it was also an extremely dangerous post. And what I mean by that is they tried to paint all of their critics as racists, as sexists, and particularly a term that is used as right wing, that they are right wing extremists, which is crazy. That is the type of rhetoric that is getting people assassinated in the world outside of video games, and it's not a good look. You guys claim to be the tolerant left, yet whenever anybody is opposed to your beliefs or anybody simply doesn't agree with you on everything, you then show how intolerant you actually are, and then it's complete mask off and you show how hateful you truly are. So I'm not going to read this entire post because I already had, but I wanted to, of course, bring a little bit more attention to it because they want to hide it, meaning they realize their mistake. But they talk about how in late August, Anima Interactive and I became targets of an online viral harassment campaign after giving a presentation at Gamescom, the world's largest video game convention. A prominent streamer with a large right-wing following broadcast my talk to his audience, reaching millions of views. This escalated into direct personal attacks and doxing attempts, forcing us to minimize our online presence and protect our safety and security. Now, obviously, doxing people is not okay. Sending people death threats and harassment is not okay. But these individuals will take any sort of criticism and call it harassment in order to prop themselves up and try to win victim points. And that is a big problem I have with outright believing these individuals. They wouldn't give me the benefit of the doubt, so I feel like it's not fair that I give them the benefit of the doubt. But whenever you say, oh, your game looks fucking stupid, they would count that as harassment. If I say, oh, I think that you are a complete piece of trash and you are awful at your job, they would view that as harassment. So we do not know what they mean by like direct personal attacks. I'm sure that there are some very small percentage of people out there who push the line and who did send them like really terrible messages, but that has to be such a small percentage compared to the amount of legitimate criticism we have seen surrounding this game that I don't really think they, again, are facing just a torrent of disgusting and vile harassment. They talk, though, about the prominent streamer with the large right-wing following, which, of course, is Asmongold. He is the one who highlighted the original Gamescom talk and brought a lot of attention to it. But they talk about how their commitment to this project is rooted in deep human-centered research. And if they actually had deleted this first half of this article and they only put up an article talking about the questions and answers that they're coming up with, this might have actually been half decent. This might have been at least okay. Maybe they wouldn't have faced so much backlash if they're actually talking about how, you know, it's not propaganda and it's storytelling as inquiry and not indoctrination, and they're just so passionate about this, and they do not condone or glorify human trafficking. They play on words a little bit. And of course, one major problem I have is that they say the word game may seem inappropriate for a project centered around migration, but games have evolved far beyond traditional stereotypes and can serve as strong drivers of community and connection, because ultimately this is a game. Stop trying to recode and use different language, right? We know what you're doing. You're trying to create a game, but really it's just propaganda. Though, if they had just answered all these questions, maybe my opinion would have been different, because a lot of their answers are very in-depth, very well thought out. But of course, when they talk about the US presidential election and they say anybody that is criticizing them is basically harassing them and they're the targets of a viral online harassment campaign, I can't take them seriously, because they're really just pulling the Gamergate 1 card. They are doing what Anita Sarkeesian, Brianna Wu, and Zoe Quinn did. They're doing what Collective Shout is doing. They're doing what Sweet Baby Inc. is doing. This is why nobody takes you seriously, and probably nobody is going to support your product. But the fact that they tried to hide is just so hilarious to me, because they really think that people are just going to magically forget about their statements and their stances, which isn't going to happen. But these people are just not the individuals I personally want to support. And especially when they come out and say anybody not supporting them is a disgusting individual, I don't really foresee them gaining much support by anyone, period. So I will keep an eye out to see if they make any other statements, or maybe if they put this original article back up. But it seems that they're trying to run and hide, and of course, that is not going to work out well for them. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.